This Chat with the Expert is brought to you by Angie's List on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Chat with the Experts, brought to you by Angie's List. We are joined today by Chris Cunningham of Service Plus Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. And as always, has been a fantastic guest today, and we're going to ask him some of your listener questions here in just a moment. But first, we want to share 3 things you should know when it comes to your heating, cooling, and plumbing systems in your home. And we've mentioned already today how nobody wants to be left in the cold this winter when their heating system breaks down unexpectedly. And one of our experts contributors at Angie's List, Bruce Davis Sr. of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating, recently wrote an article for us titled 3 Steps to Avoid a Plumbing, Heating, or Cooling Emergency. Now, first, Davis advises to learn about your equipment. Get a notebook and simply list out your main plumbing, heating, and cooling appliances and equipment, and then have a tab for each appliance that's going to require maintenance. And this is going to allow you to have all of the necessary details for your systems to be in one place, which will make it a lot easier to access when it's time for regular maintenance or, heaven forbid, in the event of an emergency. Second, maintain your equipment properly. Some systems may only need maintenance once or twice a year, but take the proper steps by checking your notebook and contacting a professional when it's time for a checkup. If it's too hard to keep track of, find a company that will offer maintenance plans, like we talked about earlier, which will give you some peace of mind and may even offer some reduced rates. Finally, as we stress all the time here on this show, develop a connection with a professional that you can depend on. Breakdowns and emergencies never happen at convenient times, but if you have a strong relationship with the company that you work with, getting the help you need can be a lot easier. And loyalty goes a long way, especially in situations where you need someone that you can trust in a hurry without having to fear shoddy workmanship by a lousy service company. If you'd like some more tips on keeping your home systems in tip-top shape, you can read Bruce's article and a whole lot more by visiting our Solution Center at angieslist.com/articles. You can find all kinds of different content, written content, videos, podcasts, photo galleries, how-to pieces, everything you want. It's angieslist.com/articles. All right, now it's time for the portion of the show where we have our listeners ask the questions. It's called Consumers Ask, and as always, we took questions from Facebook, Twitter, and our online Angie's List Answers forum, and we're taking these questions and we are directing them straight at Chris Cunningham to get some feedback. Chris, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's start with David. He wants to know if homeowners insurance is going to cover sewer line replacement.
Sometimes it does. Most of the time it does not. My recommendation would be to contact your insurance agent and maybe look at your deck page and see if it's covered. I know a lot of the backup coverage is in place for the damage, so the water damage. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to replacing that line, typically the insurance company is going to make that your responsibility. So definitely look into it. Yeah, it's definitely worth a look.
Yeah, talk with your insurance company or your insurance agent and see what your policy covers there. A lot of folks just don't know what their homeowner's insurance policy actually covers, so it's important to educate yourself there whenever possible. Mary asks, should my new HVAC system have clunking or knocking noises?
Absolutely not. I would definitely have them back out to look at that. So that's not a normal. We always sell units saying, hey, these are going to be quieter than your last one. Yeah. And typically the new ones are. So I would definitely have the company back out to look at that.
That seems like more of a problem that you would have later on down the line. Is that something that you ever see in some of your service calls?
Absolutely. When you change a heating system out, the blower drive, which is moving the air, it's going to be different. It's going to have a different fan curve. And so what happens a lot of times is the clunking is the ductwork's popping as the pressure is changing.
Gotcha.
And the old blower might not have been as strong. It might have been set at a different speed. So what happens is the ductwork compresses. It makes a nice little loud pop. Sounds like the house is falling apart. Yeah. And really it's a minor issue that can be fixed pretty quickly.
Yeah, very good info. Jermaine wants to know some tips for understanding the SEER rating, SEER, when looking for a new HVAC system. I wonder if you could break that down a little bit for him.
Yeah, so SEER is an acronym that stands for Seasonal Energy Efficiency Ratio. And basically the government came up with this line and said, okay, we're going to put a rating on all this equipment so that the higher the number, the more efficient. And that way we can define what's the minimum allowed to be out in the marketplace. Okay. And so the minimum used to be a 10. They went away from that back in 2005, and now it's a 13, and they go all the way up into the 20s. So when you're looking at a heating or cooling system, the higher the number, the more efficient the unit's going to be, but also you're going to see some installation costs increase and the units are going to be larger. as well. So, average customer right now I see in the marketplace is putting in around a 15 SEER units, not the lowest efficiency, not the highest, and it usually hits the sweet spot between efficiency and wallet.
Yeah. Do you find that there's a confusion amongst homeowners on some of this, or are people having a pretty good understanding of what they're getting in terms of energy efficiency?
Yeah, I think now more than ever, the homeowners have a lot of education and really are challenging us as contractors to say what they want, what they're expecting. Customers are coming back and saying, well, I wouldn't even consider this 13, and because it's not what I want. I want a more efficient unit.
Sure.
Even though we may approach it from a cost standpoint and say this is the lowest cost I can provide you, customers are really looking for that balance.
Yeah.
And so we do see most of our customers opting for somewhere in the middle ranges.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Faith wants to know what you should do if you smell sewer gas in your home. Is that a sign of trouble?
Yes and no. A lot of people maybe have a basement drain that's just unused. It might be a floor there. Typically, we'll have a trap in it. Those traps can dry out, and then that sewer gas will escape into the space. So what you want to do, the first thing, is make sure that you pour some water down each one of your drains and make sure you fill up that trap. After that, if it consists of the smell, try to isolate the area that it's down to, and then I would call a professional, make sure they bring maybe a camera system so they can scope it out and see what's going on. But typically, the majority of the ones that we see are just traps that have dried out. The gas is getting through. That's the purpose of the trap, is to trap the gas. So it really just comes down to evaporation, and you just want to fill those up. So the first thing to do is grab a pitcher of water and run around the house and pour some water in the drains.
Is that a service call when you hear them over the phone that you're able to tell them right off the bat, like, do that before we go any further on this?
Yes, we always do that because people get really upset when you grab a pitcher from their kitchen and fill up a drain and say, have a nice day. I need my $70 service call, whatever it is. We try to minimize that. Same with the furnace filter. You really try to go above and say, okay, here, can we eliminate these simple steps so that, one, we don't sending a plumber out there to waste everybody's time when it's an easier fix.
Yeah, definitely. Sharon asks if it's safe to leave portable heaters running in the house as opposed to running their heating system this time of year.
I would say absolutely not unless you're there babysitting it, because every year someone burns down their house because they are waiting on a heating air or don't have the money to fix it. And so they go out to Walmart or someplace and buy all these heaters and plug them all in. Now they're overloading their electrical circuits, and now they've caused a fire. So if you're there and you can watch it, yes, I would definitely follow the recommendations on the heaters. We do have portable heaters that we provide to customers, but we definitely explain to them, you only plug this one in here and it goes off when you leave.
Yeah.
In the event that we can't get you up and running quickly enough. But it's very risky, and you definitely do not want to leave it unattended.
Yeah, I think there's this idea of like the really old portable heaters that, you can see the orange glow and there's a danger of it catching fire. But now there's a lot of newer, just better quality, more efficient heaters. And so you get the idea of like, oh, this is safe, but it sounds like it's not necessarily the portable heater itself, but the fear of overloading your electrical system.
Overloading your electrical circuit, combustibles too close to the device. I would never feel comfortable telling anyone I'm sure that's safe.
Yeah.
It seems like you would accept that responsibility. And you'd be amazed at what you see people do on the marketplace between having the oven on and open with kids playing around 10 heaters plugged into one socket.
Oof.
Yeah.
I imagine
it's the Wild West out there. Yeah.
That's going to do it for our listener questions for this week. As always, a big thank you to all of our listeners out there for asking your questions. If you got one you want to ask, follow us on Twitter or like Angie's List on Facebook. You can ask your questions there. You can also visit our online forum. It's answers.angieslist.com. Go there, ask your question, and may be chosen for the show, or you may find the answer provided to you from our service pros and other homeowners that are on those forums as well. Check it out at answers.angieslist.com. Chris, I want to thank you again so much for taking the time to come on the show. We always really enjoy having you around.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Don't step away just yet. Things are still heating up here on Chat with the Experts. When we return, we're going to welcome in Paul Pogue for our Writer's Block segment to talk about how to handle plumbing pipes during a remodel. Stay right here. You're listening to Chat with the Experts, brought to you by Angie's List.
Angie's List believes that hiring great local service providers should be easy. Whether you need a plumber or a pet sitter, you can find one at angieslist.com. See ratings and reviews in hundreds of categories, shop popular offers, and request scheduling assistance directly online. Memberships start at just $9.99 per year. That's less than $1 a month. Join today and get 40% off with promo code WIBC40. Visit angieslist.com to sign up.